influencers in the business and political spheres, in the professional spheres as well, people who are working hard to ensure that when we hear of Nigeria having potentials out there, the potential translates to people who are working so hard to ensure that the country remains up there, being number one in everything. All the statistics that you hear, these are people who are working them out. I really welcome all of you, all our guests and listeners and contributors to all of this. We welcome all of you. This is put together by the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and it was set up in 1986. And since that time until now, it has not relented. We're touching lives and forming, molding what business should be like, touching people within Nigeria and outside, collaborating with other chambers of commerce across the world. It's really interesting. So we welcome you. This conference is apt and timely because of the timing that we find ourselves. The COVID-19 that we all have heard about has transformed the way that we do business on a daily basis, has transformed the way that we approach and see things. In fact, by January, as at January this year, no one knew that we will be here talking about COVID-19. We were thinking it was a Wuhan or a China-based small disease, but here we are feeling the impacts all over the place. And due to this, great chunk of our lives have moved online. This conference we're holding now would have been in Abuja somewhere, maybe at the International Conference Center or the Yaradua Center, or somewhere where you have hundreds and thousands of people gathering. But here we are online because of COVID-19. But the point there is, how do we get the best out of it? That is why this is on ground. How do we maximize? Because we are all, a lot of us here, and people who have interest here are people who are business oriented. How do we take advantage of doing business online, making the best out of it? And also, with the little investment we have, how do we take advantage of opportunities and all of that? Sometimes it looks like it is a hydra-headed task, but it might be easier than we imagine. That is why we have all of the professionals here to give us tips here and there on how to make the best out of it. So I welcome everyone, and we will start right away. If all of you have the agenda, you will see that we're starting with the keynote address. But let me first of all give the ground rules so that we all live by it. Let us all mute all our mics. If you are not speaking at the time, let's keep your our mics muted or in the mute mode so that we don't have interferences from the background and background noise. Olawale Rashid, can we have your mic on the mute? If you're going to speak, then you can unmute and then you talk. The question and answer session will come, and then you can send all your questions to the chat box, and we'll certainly attend to all of them based on how much time will permit all of us. And then let's keep the time, because we are certainly going to adhere strictly to time. Everyone has been given the time to speak, and we would like everyone to keep within that time. If you can beat the time and deliver everything you can deliver before the time your time elapses, congratulations. But if you cannot, then we will certainly let you know that your time is up so that we can cover a lot of ground. Like I said before, we are also live on YouTube, and a lot of people will follow also on YouTube. We are streaming live. All right, let me give the time to our keynote speaker now. He is a corporate lawyer, a tax expert, international arbitrator, mediator, and entrepreneur. He holds the highest rank as a senior advocate of Nigeria and the highest honor as a life bencher that a lawyer may attain within Nigeria. You all know what that means. All right, he is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitration, UK, fellow of the Chartered Institute of Mediators and Counselors of Nigeria, and fellow of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria as well. So he founded and leads the Tokumbo Kayode Law Practice, the ILT Consults Limited, an investment law and tax consultancy firm. If we have to read out all of the different companies he has founded or is leading, we won't leave here today because the list is so long. But this is to let you know that the pedigree of the person we're talking about is high here. He's currently the president of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, where he has established the best center for skills and capacity development, dispute resolution center, that's a DRC, not DRC Congo anyway, the policy advocacy center, as well as the Abuja Trade Center. He has an abiding interest in radical reforms of SMEs and funding mechanism, and as well as development. He's also the chairman of the board of Nigeria Private Sector Alliance, and he's on the board of National Association of Chambers of Commerce Nigeria, that's NASIMA, Pan-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the Nigerian branches of several binational business councils. He has served Nigeria in several capacities, including Culture and Tourism Minister, Labor and Employment Minister, Attorney General, and Justice Minister, as well as Defense Minister. He holds the Nigerian National Honors of Commander of Order of the Niger, CON, as well as the Distinguished Service Order of the Republic of Liberia. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Prince Adetokunbo Kayode, CON, SAN. The floor is yours now, sir.
Thank you very much, Mike. I wish you didn't have to go through all that stress of reading out the history. We are in a new presence now, so history is past. And one of the new things that's going on, that's happening in the world today, is e-commerce, online business transactions, and which Nigeria fortunately has keyed into. Many of the experts who are present here today, Ambassador Segun Olugbile, Osita, Grace, a lot of people will give you all the details and statistics. So, but I will just titillate to you a little bit. It is believed that by 2 years ago, Nigeria was doing about maybe $1.4 billion in $1.4 billion in e-business. But I can assure you that from January to May of this year, the volume has increased by about 50%. And you all know why. Sit at home, work from home. That means that you have to make orders. You do not know, everybody was even scared of going out. So we have to use those who are not connected to the internet, how to connect. From about 50 million internet users, we're now doing almost 80 million. So things are really happening. And there are clear advantages: availability, convenience, several options, competitiveness. And I want to add the advantage of efficiency. And this pandemic, this global pandemic that has happened, is a new, of course, people said, everybody agrees that it has created a new normal. It also shows how exponentially e-commerce will spread going forward. For instance, today, and I'll give two examples. One, we are having this meeting, this conference online. Ideally, we will have this conference in situ, of course, in the Abuja Chamber of Commerce International Conference Center that we just built, or we'll have been doing it at the Hilton or International Conference Center, as Mike said. The important thing is this: we are using now e-services. We're using the Zoom, which is part of an aspect of the way the world has changed. Secondly, many of the businesses we do relates to trade promotions, trade expos, and trade promotions. But it turns out that now we could not do most of that this year. So we had to go digital. So we are setting up a digital platform to do trade promotions, trade expos. And this will become normal. You know, the most popular trade fairs in the world is the Canton Fair in Guangzhou in China. This year, they had to do it digitally. That is a virtual trade fair. And people will continue to build on this. And that means that it will become a normal. And we cannot be left behind in Nigeria. So we are going to key into that. My executive has approved already for us to go into digital trade promotions. So The opportunities are huge for e-commerce. You know Konga, we know Jumia, you know Price Paddy, Deliman, OPay, and we're also adding our own. We call it Niger Pay. These are the huge opportunities that must come, and we must all seize it. As I said, the experts who are on this panel will give us all the lowdown and the prospects and the opportunities, and also the challenges, because every good thing has its challenges. We know the challenges about transport and logistics, which government has to work with the private sector to solve. We know the challenges about weak technology and the weak fintech solutions. This we have to work on. And I want to particularly mention Ambassador Olubile, who is working on cybersecurity for Nigeria. This is also a key area because everybody wants to know, but want to be sure that of the security of the transactions and of the funds and of their cards and of whatever they do online. All in spite of all of this, e-commerce is Nigerian. We must seize with our two hands all the opportunities that it brings out, and begin to exponentially then push it into e-medicine, e-learning, you know, and every other aspect of the life that electronics and digital technology will drag us into. So having said that, I welcome all of you most heartily to this seminar. I look forward to learning because all of us learn every day. I look forward to learning from all of you. And I hope at the end of the day, we will have gained a lot from this and move on from here to understand that with government, Nigerian government, and ourselves as the business practitioners, we must maximize the opportunities that this gives. I will say that once again, I thank you very much. Please have a great conference. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate everything you have said. And it is key. When you say the new normal, life was new normal now is online. It seems like we have all migrated from where we used to be now, and life has gone online. Everything we're doing, e-medicine or telemedicine as the case may be, e-learning, e-buying, everything is now happening online. In fact, people are buying food now online. We're waiting to see how people are going to eat online anyway. All right, we thank you so much. Thank you very much for that keynote address. All right, we're going ahead now. We have lots of dignitaries here, but you know, like things are moving. We are not able to meet all the standards of what protocol should be when it comes to recognition and all of that. But however, we will just keep things within a time frame where we can carry everybody along and we move on. Okay, so it is time now to give the time to the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Bonaya Onu, is ably represented in this webinar by Dr. Dan Azumi Ibrahim, the Director General of the National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, NATOP. He is here, so I'll give the ground to him now. Dr. Dan Azumi Ibrahim, thank you so much to see you. You were one of the first to be online. Nice to see you here. It's all yours now for your goodwill message.
Well, thank you very much, the moderator, Oga Mike. And, first of all, I would like to apologize on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology for not being here in person. But because of the importance he attached to this, he directed that I should unfailingly be part of it. That was why I had to hook in 15 minutes before the time. The DG Chambers of Commerce and Industry, respected Professor Kayode, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who is also the keynote speaker, the discussants, representatives of the various establishments here present, the DG of the Chambers, Victoria Akai, other notable discussants here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. So as I had said, I'm Dr. Nazmi Mohammed Ibrahim, representing the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, and I have given you his apology for not being here in person. And he requested me to specifically commend the efforts of the chambers for organizing such a webinar at this crucial time of COVID-19. Certainly, COVID-19 came along with a lot of pain, but certainly it provided us with a lot of opportunities. Like the keynote speaker has said, the volume of e-commerce between January to date has increased over 50%. So the attendant economic values of this cannot even be quantified. So we want to congratulate the chambers for this foresight, because private sector is the engine growth of any nation. Government alone cannot provide job opportunities in the private sectors that provides job opportunities. So any environment that favors the development of the private sector, I think is so dear to the heart of the people in this country. So once again, we commend the chambers for this foresight. Apart from the pain, COVID-19 provided us with a lot of opportunities. Those opportunities are so obvious. We began to feel the opportunities. We began to do businesses within the comfort of our rooms, within the comfort of our parlors. We don't need to go anywhere. That is technology. And it is technology that demarcates between developed and developing nations. But we have to emphasize that most of those technologies, most of those platforms we are enjoying to transact our business are imported technologies. And certainly as a nation that is aspiring to become economically independent, we must have to ensure that we develop the needed capacities so that we gradually reduce the dependence on foreign technology. That is our belief. Nigeria can only develop at sustainable level if we begin to export our technologies, if we begin to develop technologies that should power our own economy and reduce dependency on foreign technologies. Particularly on this e-commerce, the government has put in place a few things to improve on the e-commerce. First of all, the ease of doing business in this country, through the government efforts, particularly government of Muhammadu Buhari, has improved the ease of doing business in this country. And will continue to do it till when businesses become as seamless as possible, like in other part of the world. Also the ministry, because of the importance of this e-commerce, changed the name of the Ministry of Communication to Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. That is to give a credence to the importance of and digital economy. So we want to assure you that government at our own level will continue to encourage, will continue to provide the enabling environment so that we move our nation forward. The other issue is, yes, recently also government came with executive orders. Executive order, particularly Executive Order 5. If you now see that most of the platforms we are enjoying are foreign, but Executive Order 5 and local content issue are meant to encourage development of the needed capacity so that gradually we reduce the level of dependency on foreign technology. Executive Order 5 in particular encourages Nigerian professionals to now compete with their counterparts at an advantage stage. If any Nigerian company is buying or tendering for any science and technology contracts, priority is given to Nigerians. Where the Nigerians don't have the full competencies, they are at liberty to go outside the country and bring a technical partner to assist. In the process, some of those technologies are absorbed by Nigerians. Government will continue to play its own role, and the private sector must be encouraged, and level playing ground should be given to them. Enabling environment should be created so that we move our nation forward. We have responsibility. Everybody has responsibility in this country. The citizens, the private sectors, the individuals, everybody should play his own or her own role so that collectively we move our nation forward and reduce the shackles of dependency on foreign technology. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the audience. I want to congratulate once again the chambers for organizing this, and we want to assure you that the ministry and its agency will continue to provide the needed assistance, the needed efforts so that collectively we move our nation forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Dan Azumi Ibrahim, the Director General of the National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, representing the Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Bunaya Onu. Thank you so much for talking to us. It's really nice. You really touched some strong areas there. The issue of ease of doing business, because there are so many startups right now who are looking forward to registering with the Corporate Affairs Commission, and the timing for registration and all of that has been reduced now. In fact, now the people can get their TIN numbers directly from the the uh, the Corporate Affairs Commission without necessarily finishing from corporate before you go to either the FIRS and all of that. It's really a business is a very beautiful thing, and is making things easier as well. That's why Nigeria is improving on the index, which is really interesting. All right, let's move ahead now due to time, so we can cover a lot of ground. Now, the next topic now is e-commerce. Nigeria's time is now. This topic strikes with me it strikes some kind of chord with me, because it is talking about the timing of COVID-19, the timing where we find ourselves right now, how we can take advantage. This topic is really central to what we're doing now. And the person who is going to coordinate and lead us in this talk, in that discussion, he is a lawyer, a business consultant, a filmmaker, and he's the founder and CEO of Footprint to Africa, a media and investment company facilitating foreign and direct investment into Nigeria. He sits on the board of 5 other companies, including Wings of Justice Foundation and Nigeria America Chamber of Commerce. And he a graduate of law degree from the University of Buckingham, United Kingdom, and he holds several international certifications from Harvard Business School and other notable global institutions, and has a diploma in cinematography, film, video producing from the New York Film Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, to take this topic, it is my pleasure to hand over now to Osita Okparaogu, who is the CEO of Ogele Limited. It's nice to have you join us right now, Osita. The floor is yours now.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. At some point, I was like, hey, is he talking about me? Okay, so today, we're going to do something slightly different. I am not going to talk on a paper or going to discuss why COVID is here or why it is not here. I am going to share events and stories, what has happened globally, and why we think Nigeria's time is now. Everyone here, I hope, know Sir Richard Branson. He's the Virgin Man. You know, he was in Nigeria at some point, and of course, it didn't go well. But today, he's asking United Kingdom for a £500 million bailout. What did he do wrong? He didn't do anything wrong. Nothing. He did everything right. He revolutionized air traveling. Virgin Atlantic was the first to have the beautiful bed that you can sleep on and fly. At some point, they had one ad that was very striking. It says, "We are virgin, we are good in bed." He's the man. He went ahead and revolutionized the way cruise is handled by building the most beautiful cruise ships. Those cruise liners, beautiful. So he did everything right. But why is he asking for 500 million bailout? Because all of his businesses are contact businesses. So the world has moved. Unfortunately, COVID came in. Now, I also know that everyone here know about what happened to Nokia. Microsoft bought over Nokia. On the press conference, when Nokia handed over.
Sorry. Olutoyin Oloni Teru, sorry, Chief. I'm sorry, Your Highness.
Yeah.
Can you put your exactly? Let's have your mic on the mute. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, we're good.
Yes, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, thank
Osita.
you, Mike. Thank
Go
you,
ahead.
Mike. So on the day they had a press conference, Nokia was being handed over to Microsoft. The president and CEO of Nokia, Stephen Elop, said, "We did everything right. We didn't do anything wrong, but somehow we lost." Why did they lose? Why did they lose? They lost because they didn't learn. Learn what? The change, the pattern of where the world was going to. How will COVID impact Nigeria? Is it to our disadvantage or disadvantage? With 100 million people, like the president said, we have 80 million internet users. With this number of people, are we going to learn? Are we going to evolve, or are we going to dissolve? You see, I am from Imo State. One proverb talks about the tortoise. They said the tortoise had two kids. He asked the first one, "How many times will something happen to you before you learn?" He said if it happens to him once, the second time he will not let it happen, he will learn. The second son said, "I won't even let it happen to me. I will learn from what has happened to my senior brother." The tortoise said the second son is his right son, that the first one, he doesn't know where that one came from. Why? Because he didn't want it to happen to him before he learns. He has to learn from someone else. So we think that Nigeria's time is now because we have the numbers. Let's not begin to look at the disadvantages that are there. The challenges of e-commerce is there. But look at also the advantages of e-commerce. Look at the bridge that it has brought. And then let's build on the good fortune that it has brought us. Let's build on the numbers. Let's build on what the communication and the head of digital business, they are doing out of that office, trying to reduce the cost of data. Now, I live in Rwanda, in Kigali, and we have a product. Rwanda is 7.9 million people that have internet lines of about their 10 million Rwandese. That's like Ikeja in Lagos. Ghana has less than 23 million active lines. Tanzania has about 44 million active lines. Kenya less than 34. South Africa has, on the dot as of December 2019, South Africa had 33.7 million. If you put 10 countries, 10 other African giants together, you are now talking about the number of the Nigerian internet users. So if you are a Nigerian and you offer any kind of business and COVID has not let you open up to the e-commerce, then you have not learned anything. This is the time for us to key into where the world is going to. Let's not think about, oh no, the disease will, the drugs will come out in September, then the vaccine will come out in January. It's already come here, it's come to stay. It's going to be like the chicken pox, it's going to be like whatever disease that we've already had before. So the earlier we key into this, the better for all of us. But now let me tell you, before COVID, we had a lot of challenges. 43% of Nigerian agri-produce did not make it to the market. They don't make it to the market. They are lost in transit. Why? Because most times they don't have the end point. The end user is not known. But with this situation, embracing the e-commerce, if I'm producing tomatoes from Jos and I'm selling it online and I have 10 buyers that may be based in Abuja, So that means I already know I am sending 1/4 of my produce to the Abuja Chamber of Commerce. I'm sending 1/4 of it to Hilton. I'm sending 1/4 of it to that other club. I'm sending it to this hotel. So with the use of e-commerce, your market is streamlined. Your market is known. Your market is targeted. Delivery is assured. If he leaves your spot, he knows where he's going to. If I run a restaurant, number 10 Aguiyi Street, and Mike orders breakfast from 23 Adetokunba Demola Street. Come on, when the dispatch rider leaves point A, he knows where he's going to point B. So with the number that we have in this country, everyone who has a business in this space should just streamline their businesses and see how first they would develop that market strategy. And your market strategy is simple. Do not go for the numbers in their millions, go for the numbers in their thousands. Do not go for the numbers in their thousands. If you haven't got the capacity, go for the numbers in their hundreds. So we are talking about growing gradually because it is a new area. It's come with its own challenges. You have to understand the underbelly before you can expand. If you approach it the way you approach your contact business, you will have a lot of pitfalls that you may not have envisaged before you got into the business. So grow gradually. If you want to do business like my brothers, please change a little bit. Don't control point A, point B, and point C. E-commerce gives space for division of labor. Let me use that, that simple analogy. So e-commerce says, I am Osita. I produce tomatoes. I want to stick to producing tomatoes. I want to leave Mike with the delivery. Don't be the producer, don't deliver, and don't operate the IT infrastructure. You will be overwhelmed. Maintain your position as the producer. Ship your delivery to a delivery company that takes off 1/4 of your stress and work mechanism. Shift your IT to the IT company that takes also the mechanism of controlling when your product leaves to when it gets to the end user. If it is that easy for one person to come and aggregate all the work into one company, then Americans will not be shipping their IT jobs to India. Uber has 209 engineers in India. So Uber would have simply said, let's house the engineers because we have the money. No, at all times, the e-commerce is a professional segment of global business, and let the professionals in each field handle that business so that you will be able to grow a seamless business, and you will be able to at least target out of these 80 million people, 5%, 0.5%, depending on the capacity of your company, depending on your product. Thank you.
Wow, that's really powerful. Really, really powerful. Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much, Osita Okparagu, for that powerful tips that you've given there. And the point there is talking about great potential. We have it. Nigeria has it. We've been talking about this since 1900s or even the 17th century. Nigeria has that great potential. And then growing gradually is part of what he talked about. And then taking advantage of the chain. Because, our people like to do everything. Who will master everything, just do it. Now, the idea is take advantage of the chain. If you are one, let there be another agency that handles another aspect, and then you rely on each other that way to build efficiency. Thank you very much, Osita Okparagu, for that time. It's really amazing. All right, let's move on now to the next goodwill message we have. And meanwhile, we also have the Vice President of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry as well, Dr. Johnson Anene. Is he in yet? Okay, he's going to say something soon by the time we have him on. Now it's time for a goodwill message from the MD of Nigeria Export Processing Zone Authority, and it's my pleasure to give the space now to Professor Adesoji Adeshuba. It's nice to have you on. Professor, it's all yours now. You have to unmute your mic first. You have to unmute your mic first before you.
Very much, Mike, and let me stand
Great.
on existing protocols. But let me appreciate my boss, Prince Adetokunbo Kayode SAN. If you know him and his passion for technology, then you won't be surprised that we're having this. Let me also put it on record that he had probably foreseen what is happening now. He had developed an e-commerce platform for the Abuja Chamber of Commerce about 3 years ago, which we are now launching. And kudos to him. He's always been very pushful when it comes to technology. Well, we're in very interesting times, you must say, with the COVID-19 pandemic coming on board and changing the global commercial terrain. Definitely internet and digital technologies have also become greatest enablers of global trade. And these have made e-commerce a game changer in the international trade arena. E-commerce, which is essentially the process of doing things, buying, selling, transferring, or exchanging products, services, information through computer networks, is not just beginning to gain so much ground, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, is now the only way out. And so I appreciate Abuja Chamber of Commerce at this particular moment having this seminar. UNCTAD had predicted that business to customer e-commerce market was about 621.1 billion by 2019. And they estimate that by 2027, it will be about 4,856.1 billion, growing at a compound annual rate of 27.4%. But due to COVID-19, those figures have suddenly changed within a short period of time. They're now looking at the compound annual rates to be more than 50%. This optimism, of course, in the growth of cross-border e-commerce is expected to come with major challenges in logistics, information and data management, tariff duties and taxation, as well as inspection and security for each delivery. And that is where we come in. There are already several cases of companies and countries investing in specialized areas. China is leading the way. Beijing has set up 13 free zones for e-commerce, known as pilot free trade zones since 2015. Nigeria is following suit. We are setting up logistics centers using the special economic zone strategy. And so far we have 34 such special economic centers, with about 17 of them fully functional. We are thinking of setting up another 6, and government will, in a very short time, designate 4 international airports as special economic zones. This is very important for us to understand that with the advent of e-commerce and logistics centers in the world, we need to understand that we must be able to compete favorably with the world, because physical goods are, the strategy of physical goods changing hands has changed. I can now sit in my home and order things through Amazon, and more Nigerian companies like Jumai are coming up. It's very important that we become competitive, especially with the CFTA coming to play very shortly. Nigeria must play its part. We must understand that internet connectivity must improve in Nigeria. We must continue to develop our skills in this sector, because the world global chain, the world logistic management is totally not the way it used to be, and it's definitely going to change. Everybody's talking about after COVID-19. I keep on asking, when is COVID-19 going to end? So we have to plan and walk it as if it's going to be with us for some time. But even then, if it goes away, Are we sure another virus will not come and take its place? So we must be ready for the new norm, the new world. And let me stop here and wish everybody good deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor. I was looking at the time as it was ticking and it was ticking and it was ticking. You kept the time exactly. This is really amazing. Thank you so much, Professor Adeshuba, for your contribution. Now, the issue of clusters. We all know that Nigeria is a collection of clusters here and there, from all products, from manufacturing to agriculture to tech and all of that. Taking advantage of all of those will go a long way. Okay, let's move on now to the next discussion. The next discussion talks about leveraging on cloud computing for e-commerce, unlocking potentials and business opportunities. Now, the person who is going to take this, he is, they simply call him the ambassador. You know, they call him the ambassador. And he's a fellow of the Euro SSIG in Germany. He's a chairman of International Center for Emerging Technology, ICET, and then he's also the chairman Data Analytics Privacy Technology Limited, a board member of African ICT Alliance, and he's a digital policy expert with over 20 years. He's a global internet governance ambassador and served as internet governance advisor to the UN Secretary General between 2014 and 2017, as well as the African Union between 2016 and 2018, and then a technical resource person to ECOWAS Internet Governance for Development. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give the space now to Olusegun Olugbile now to take the stage or take the floor. Shegun, it's all yours now.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you.
I really want to appreciate the president of the Chambers of Commerce in Abuja for having this vision to organize a program like this. Okay, that's fine. I have a little slide. I really want us to have a takeaway because, can you hear me? Okay,
We can hear you clearly. We can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Because, okay, thank you. Now, I want to take it from where my brother stopped, the previous speaker. That is, sorry, I can't remember his name now, but the CEO, the man that made mention of the Virgin Airline, and that give us good examples of companies that are not having dynamic vision.
You're talking about the SITA.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me take it from where he stopped. He concluded by saying something that it is important for the business to focus on the core business and allow technology to drive you. That is exactly the ideology behind the emerging scenario that we find ourselves. Now, that is where the basis of my presentation, and that is what the cloud computing can do for you as a business to take advantage of the opportunity and to overcome the uncertainty that is brought by the COVID-19 and even the dynamics of the environment. Now, next slide, please. Now, I will quickly take us through within the next 10 minutes. I pray that God will help me because I really want us to take away something. And mine is to talk about how can we leverage on cloud computing to unlock the potentials and so also to unlock the opportunity for businesses. And you may want to ask me, what is cloud? I want to assume that some of us, we have not really known much about cloud. Permit me to assume that so that we can learn no matter what you have known before. I believe that it will have another layers of understanding. Now, what is cloud? Is basically cloud is basically internet. It's basically what we refer to as cyberspace. It's a place of engagement. It's a place where you have the connection and the connectivities of various, systems, servers, activities, human mind connected together, and at the same time, products and services that are dynamically put together to offer a particular service or a particular transaction. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. Now, the cloud is it's a online platform that we can look at in the context of in that context of providing and delivery an important infrastructures. Next slide, please, because I really want us to get the key facts and figures, so that at the end of the day we'll have at least substantial ideas of how best or what the intersection between cloud computing and e-commerce. Now, cloud computing is an environment that offers you capability, that capability of creating market, that capability of delivering your service, and that capability of connecting with customers that you don't know, and the capability to access the unknown market and also the emerging market. But there are key, features that we can look at to actually find out if we actually need cloud computing, and to also help us to identify the environment that we are talking about. It is an environment in which you need an internet access. So if you do not have internet access as a business person, you are already cut off. It's an environment that gives you a measured service. That is, it gives you a service on the pay as you go. It's an environment that gives you on-demand self-service. That is a service that you particularly need. Like my brother said, that if you're a farmer, focus on your farmer and let the technology drive the service for you. So you can really initiate a process that gives you that particular service that you need. It is also an environment that gives you shared resource pooling, that is opportunity to share platform and resources with others around the world. And we give you that cloud platform that gives you a form of flexibility to scale what you need within the context of what you can afford. So that the excuse of saying that I don't have access to technology, or I don't have access to fund, or I can't afford it, or my system is too complex for me to really operate, those things have been taken away. Now, the question is, does everyone here already using cloud service or a cloud technology? Yes. For the fact that we are using Zoom, for the fact that we are seeing ourselves on Zoom and we use a collaborative technology, it means that we are already using cloud. But there's an important question that we need to ask. Does this, but where does all this data, the data that we use in business, our presence online, all our activities and our commerce and business online, where do they actually live? Who runs it? Who runs it? On what platform? So a cloud computing deploy in various ways. It all depends on the business need. And it all depends on the first thing that you need to know, which is about deploying a specific type of a cloud. A specific cloud, type of a computing model that can fit into what you need. It is so designed such that no matter the scales or the level of your business, you can easily scale it. You can, you can easily model it, and you can easily have access to the service that can really give you what you need. Then the next element of it is to look at the service category, which is about, I think we can talk about more on that. Next slide, please. So I just spoke about 3 modeling. Now, there are different modes of cloud computing. You have a kind of environment in which your cloud service is hosted on the public, in which you share resources and you share all the network and all that with other people around the world. And then you also have a private cloud in which you deploy your service and your service is hosted on the virtual private network. Then that is, you own that infrastructure, but you use internet to deliver your service. Then you have the hybrid, which is a combination of both the public and the cloud. But how does this, impact us? As you can see that schematic over there, it gives you the various elements of cloud, how they are interconnected, how they are integrated. But in most cases, there will be likely the need for everyone to use an hybrid cloud, because you need a section of the cloud that can provide you a private business, and at the same time, you need a section of cloud that can give you the opportunity to share resources in terms of cost. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Now, this just touch on the basic thing that drive, that power the cloud computing. You have the computing power itself, that the hardware, you have the network infrastructures. I would like to go to the, because of the timing. Then you also have the data storage, you have the data analytics or system analytics. This analytics is one of the most essential elements of the cloud computing. It actually transforms your activity, your engagement in terms of the productivity values, so that you'll be able to know what level of value in terms of business that the cloud computing offers you. Then you have the various cloud computing services, cloud services. They are basically three. Now, this is where it is important for us to understand the layer that the SME or mid business or the large business can fall into within the context of what they can afford. Then you have software as a service, you have a platform as a service, you have infrastructure as a service. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Now, we are going to look at the software as a service. Next slide, next slide, next slide. Next slide. Now, let's quickly look at the software. Go back. Next slide. We're looking at infrastructure as a service. Sorry, infrastructure as a service. That is the fundamental layer. Now, this is a place, as you can see on the screen, it is about a service that offers you what you ordinarily we should do. Like, for example, that my brother talked about the need for a business to focus on the core business, rather than to spend the business hour and the business time buying and configuring and then dealing with IT department, and you spend substantial time of your business in doing that, which does not necessarily add value. Now, the cloud computing infrastructure services has provided you, a kind of hardware, the network infrastructures, and all that you need to have. You don't even need to look for an investment somewhere, or you don't need to have a dedicated IT department that will have to do that. Next slide, please. So it allows you to really have what you need and to purchase exactly the level of the service that you need. Now, what are the key benefits to businesses? Now, the cloud computing, as you can see, instead of you spending so much money in buying servers, network operating system, where you have to configure, for example, server 2000, maybe whatever version of server, whether hardware context of it or the software, it takes substantial time. Then in the context of the business, it actually addresses the key element of the requirement of the business. It gives you that particular IT requirement that you need, which have been invested by the third party online, which have been hosted online, in which at the same time this technology gives you the capability that you will have in the traditional on-premise service-based operations. Next slide, please. So it means that you don't necessarily have to invest so much in hardware. You don't have to invest in software that you need to build your basic element of infrastructure. So it has been provided to you, as you can see in that picture. Now, you are the one at the center there. What it provides is that it has provided the hardware and all the tools necessary. They are all fully automated and embedded, integrated within the service. So all you need to do is just go in there and you focus on your business and you enhance the service. Now, this leads us to what we call platform as a service. Now, the platform as a service give you now that build on the layer of infrastructure. Now at the layer of a platform as a service, it gives you that visualization. That is, a visualization is that environment within a computer that gives the impression that you are actually owning a physical hardware or software infrastructure. Meanwhile, you are not really owning it, but you find yourself operating within that platform. And everything that you need, all the framework that you need to develop what you need. If you are a software developer, you don't have to go back and be looking for the software, a software development kit. All of them have been embedded within the platform. Like, for example,
1 minute Google more. 1 minute more.
Okay, let's quickly go forward. Let's quickly go forward. And the last one, which is go forward, which is the software as a service. The software as a service is the most important aspect of the cloud computing. Now, it offers businesses that opportunity to automate business, especially small businesses. What does it offer you? It gives you that platform. It gives you that software. Even you yourself, you can begin to automate your software if you are in a service-driven environment, like someone said, Uber. Uber does not need to have a fleet of cars. And if you are in a particular environment where you need to provide a a contact service, you don't really have to, depend on that physical environment anymore. Rather, you could as well define or design a software which can, because all the requirements that you need are provided, it can be hosted, and then all you need to do, it gives you privilege to do your business without having to, worry yourself about how much will it cost me to do this, what is it, you have to process the certification required in terms of the requirement of either professionalism, whatever. So it gives you an integrated system which will be embedded. All you need to do is to pay for that service, and the service are scaled within the level that SME can afford. And the good news is that the federal government of Nigeria has mainstreamed a cloud-first policy. Now, a cloud-first policy is a policy that says that now the government operation and the business of government must mainstream through cloud. And then by not only doing that, also to ensure that the cloud, also ensure that the business of government in cloud is anchored on the local cloud computing services provider. So I think for now, I will stop here. And as we move forward, I will be able to provide more insight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Segun Olugbile, for this wonderful trip you've taken us. You've taken us into the clouds. You took us into the cloud, and we really learned a lot. When you talk about the cloud, that is the cloud that gives everyone access and creates this proximity between any business person in Lagos and someone in China. If you consider the cloud, it just takes seconds to reach out to anyone or a customer in any part of the world. Thank you so much for your time. All right, we're trying to be very, very time conscious. Let's give the time now to the Director of Environmental Sciences and Technology at the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, Dr. Peter Ekweozo. Dr. Ekweozo, is all yours now. You need to unmute your mic first so that we can hear you.
Thank you, moderator. Thank you. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but we cannot see you. Can you hear me? We can hear you, but we cannot see you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, can you see me now? Okay.
Yes, we can see you.
Good evening. I was actually given 5 minutes for goodwill message, even though I have sent in some slides. I want to use this time, little time given to me, to talk about the Federal Minister of Science and Technology. Previous speakers have quite spoken very well concerning what e-commerce is all about. So I'm just going to dwell on the brief.
Dr. Ekweozo, it seems the network from your area is not very sharp. It seems the network from where you are is not very sharp. Okay, what we are going to do is I'm going to put you on hold so we can move ahead a little bit and then we come back to you. How about that? Because we can't hear you now. Okay, we can hear you now. So we certainly will allow time for your network to be corrected, and then we move ahead. So let's move to our next discussion now. Dr. Ekweozo will give him time to talk after this time around. After this time, now the next segment we're going into now will be taken by the Chief Business and Marketing Officer of ProShare. She is a business and market analyst, as well as a management consulting and data science enthusiast with over 8 years experience in the business. She is a graduate of actuarial science from the University of Lagos and holds a postgraduate and master's degree in economics from the same university. She holds a professional certificate from the Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria, and a postgraduate diploma in economics from the University of Lagos as well. Now, before joining ProShare in 2013, she was with the Index Investment Advisors Limited as a research analyst and contributed to the development of numerous industry reports and financial market trainings. At ProShare now, she oversees the business strategy, operational excellence, and service delivery functions of the organization. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give the time to and give the room and the floor to Grace Jare Ajuwon. She is the Chief Business and Marketing Officer of ProShare. It's all yours now, ma. You need to unmute your mic first, and then we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike, for the introduction. I really do appreciate the opportunity to be part of the distinguished discussant here today, speaking on e-commerce opportunities and prospects. I hope everyone can hear me clearly.
We can hear you. Go ahead, we can hear you.
Yeah. Oh, okay, thank you very much. So quickly, within the 10 minutes slots I've been given, I would like to quickly take us through the topic, choosing the right sales channel mix for your business. We see, and from what we've heard so far from everyone that has spoken, that there is the need for online presence has really been accelerated due to the COVID-19 pandemic. E-commerce businesses are now majorly one of the winners at this time, as most businesses have turned online to shop due to the lockdowns, the need to sit at home, and what have you. And now is the time that business owners are really considering the strategies to ensure conversion beyond just getting customers to visit their platform. So beyond customers visiting the platforms, people want to know, how can I get customers to actually transact, stay on my platform? I'm able to retain these customers, continue to do business, and to continue to purchase my products and services. So what are the strategies that can be explored? What are the factors to consider when putting the straight sales channels mixed together? These are some of the things that I would be addressing today, and I'll quickly present to us some of the various sales channels that we can explore, the factors to consider, and also share my thoughts on what businesses need to do differently to nurture and to convert leads. So basically, first off, marketing is quite different from sales. Marketing is basically everything that we do to generate leads, such as content marketing, writing on blogs, making use of search engine optimization to ensure that with whatever keywords that you search for on Google or on your social media platforms, my own website, my domain name is top among the list that comes up. So marketing generally is everything that we get to do to ensure that customers get to our platform, while sales are the things that we do to engage these customers when they get to our platform, to ensure that they stay on the platform and they actually make a purchase. So it's more about actionable things like having a live chat on the platform, things like having a chat bot, things like putting a call through almost immediately, or asking that the customer visiting the platform request for a demo so that the service or the products can be presented. Some of these things are what we do to ensure we convert the leads that get on the platform. So in simple terms, marketing is really about lead generation, while sales focuses on lead nurturing our leads to ensure that they are actually converted. So really, we've seen that customers' mindsets have changed. The behavioral pattern has also changed. Now people really want platforms they can trust. Data security, data privacy is becoming important because there's so much around cybercrime and what have you. Customers desire platforms that are really responsive. If you say you're selling a product or a service and you're not available to respond to my inquiries, then you are not responsive enough. Customers' mindset is changing, the behavioral pattern is changing. So there is a need for businesses to begin to really look at all of this data, all of this information before choosing the various sales mix that can be explored. So really, what are the factors to consider? First off is your value proposition. What makes your product service different from others? What are you doing differently that your competitor is not doing? Are you ensuring quality? Are you ensuring speedy service delivery? What exactly is that unique selling point that you are offering different from what your competitor is doing? Because just like Mr. Osita has mentioned, e-commerce business is here to stay. And for Nigeria, the time is now. So essentially is to look at the strategies, look at the factors that can be put in place, the things that can be done to ensure that customers' leads are converted. From the value proposition, now that you better understand the unique selling points that you want to give to your customers, you then go on to understanding the customer's personnel. Who are these customers that really need my business? What are their pain points? What are the features and the products of my products and services that I can match to these pain points to ensure that wherever they are, I am the first person on their minds when they think about that need. So they come to my platform and actually purchase my products or my services. Some of the closing techniques that can be explored, like I mentioned earlier, is having a live chat, requesting that you do a demo or a sales presentation, offering discounts, offering value additions, having platforms, having tools such as surveys that help you listen and ask for feedback, personal interactions, and all of that. I hope you can still hear me. Hello, Mike.
Yeah, sure.
We can hear you perfectly. We can hear
okay.
you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so these are actually some of the techniques that can be explored. And essentially, it's key to always work with data. Data helps us to understand what influences our customers to make decisions regarding their purchases. Data is key. For us at ProShare, what we always say is, in God we trust, every other thing is data. With data, you are able to stand out of your competition. You are not working blindly, because for you to be able to determine the kind of sales channels, the sales mix you need to make use of, you really need to know your customers. With data, you can easily segment your customers. Some tools such as Google Analytics help to actually see the age range of the kind of customers that visit your platform. You are also able to see the demography of the people. What location are they coming from? Are they coming more from the mainland? Are they coming from more from the island? You are able to see all of this different demography, all of this behavioral pattern. Where is your traffic coming from? Is it coming from more from social media platforms? Is it from organic searches? All of this information, all of this data really helps to determine the kind of sales channels to explore. So if I know that my customers are really coming more from social media platforms, then I really need to engage more online. I need to ensure that there's a sales representative that is available online almost 24/7 to respond to inquiries. These are all of the things that helps to ensure that customers keep coming to the platform and actually we get to close. The leads are not just generated, but the leads are nurtured and they are closed. Quickly, so that I can wrap up within the minutes I've been given. For me, determining the sales channels mix to explore, to make use of, is really focused on these 5 main points: service delivery, availability, loyalty building, experience, and simplifying the process. So with service delivery, basically, you are asking yourself questions such as, what do I have to do to ensure that I meet up with the requirements of my customers? What do I have to do to ensure that my services or my products are delivered on time? Do I need to partner with a logistics person? Do I need to partner with suppliers? Who are the people within my value service chain that I need to work with seamlessly to ensure that I continue to deliver on my services? Also, you are looking at being able to equip your team. The sales representative have to understand that customer service is key. At every point in time when they are engaging, either on call, either via emails, it's to have the customer at the back of their mind and ensure that their pain points is being met. Also, availability. it's essential for businesses to know that at every point in time when customers are engaging, because of the number of information and the amount of people, you can see that there are so many people doing almost the same thing that you're doing, similar businesses, similar products and services everywhere. So you just need to be available at every point in time to engage customers. Somebody is requesting for a quote on Instagram and you're not available there to respond to that request. You are considering, probably because it's a side also, that's why you're not available on the platform 247. No, that's not ideal. Businesses need to be available at every point in time. What are the things I need to do to build loyalty? Loyalty building is key, and also ensuring a seamless experience on your platforms. Seamless experience right from the point they hit the platform to the point they exit the platform, also simplifying the process. So I'll just quickly wrap up by saying that prioritizing building relationships with potential customers and presenting value is key, not selling to them quotes. It's not about selling to them the products, but it's about selling to them relationship. What exactly your product, what exactly your service can do to meet their pain points. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Sell relationship and not the product. All right. Data, 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 data. Like they say, numbers don't lie. The moment you have the numbers, certainly you're going to meet and achieve your point. Thank you so much, Grace Jare Ajuwon, the Chief Business and Marketing Officer at ProShare. We really appreciate you. Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much. Okay, we're trying to be very conscious of time. Is Dr. Peter Ekweozo ready now? Let's see. Well, the point there is I'm going to give you just 3 minutes to give your message because of time, so we can give room for others to speak as well. Dr. Peter Ekweozo, it's your time now, the Director of Environmental Sciences and Technology, Federal Ministry of Science and Technology. Are you there? Over to you now. Okay, it seems he is, okay, it seems he is, okay, he's not online anymore. Okay, now let's move ahead then. The next topic we're talking about, okay, before we discuss the next topic, we still have one more goodwill message from Dr. Suleiman Adebayo Audu, the Director, Commodities and Export Department, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. Can we give the room now to Dr. Suleiman Audu? He was one of those who came very, very early. He was online far ahead of time. All right, Dr. Audu, it's over to you now.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
I apologize upfront that if you can give me more than 5 minutes, I will try to be very brief. I'm asking this deliberately because I'm very passionate about e-commerce, but nevertheless, I've tried to be brief.
Unfortunately, we don't have the long time.
Okay. That being the case, let me just skip protocol. Let me skip the protocol, but at the same time, I must acknowledge the presence of the Prince Adetokunbo Kayode-San, the President of Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and also the representative of the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology. I'm delighted and honored to address the stakeholders in the e-commerce subsector of global trade in this webinar with the team E-commerce Opportunities and Prospects. This webinar is put together by the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which I call the pace-setter. It is very important to mention that this webinar is strategic in terms of timing and relevance. I say it is strategic in terms of timing because it is coming at a time when the COVID-19 global pandemic, which tremendously reduced the physical movement of people globally. In terms of relevance, it will reawaken all of us to the present realities of the numerous opportunities and prospects in the e-commerce subsector. Therefore, let me use this unique opportunity to especially again thank and appreciate the organizers of this webinar, especially the President of Abuja Chambers of Commerce and others who have contributed significantly to organize this webinar. It is, to say the least, apt and timely because e-commerce has become a thriving industry globally. E-commerce worldwide is an estimated 25.3 million in 2015 and then grew by 13% in 2017, representing 29 trillion and are likely to grow further. Distinguished participants, the importance of e-commerce in today's global trade cannot be overemphasized. Its role has become more prominent since the outbreak of the COVID-19 global pandemic which has changed the modus operandi of doing business and compel us to embrace digitalization and electronic commerce. Obviously, there are challenges as highlighted by the president of ACI and previous speakers. We should maximize the opportunities and leverage on the prospect on e-commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, at the global stage, Nigeria is a signatory to the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law, Model Law on Electronic Commerce, with the objective to enable and facilitate e-commerce conducting using electronic means. The law provides sets of rules which can be used by member states, including Nigeria, in enacting legislation to overcome obstacles and uncertainty arising from the use of e-commerce. Similarly, Nigeria is an active member of the World Trade Organization that regulates the global trading system, and e-commerce has been on the table in the WTO since the World Program was launched in 1998. I'll leave the definitions of e-commerce. I also want to relate this to the development in G20. Let me also inform you that there is no universally accepted definition of e-commerce. However, access to modern telecommunication is a requisite element of e-commerce. It is obvious that Nigeria has been following development on e-commerce globally. Nigeria was an observer during the G20 Ministerial Statement on Trade and Digital Economy in June 2019, where the design and implementation of digital policy to maximize benefits and minimize the challenges from the development of the digital economy was emphasized. Let me also go further to say that the G20 Trade Minister and Digital Economy Minister, recognizing the growing impact of digitalization on society and economy, including on trade and e-commerce, reaffirmed the importance of the interface between trade and digital economy, as stated in Buenos Aires Leaders Declaration. And I'm happy to say that President Kayode was also there in Buenos Aires in 2017. It is essential to continue to work on further understanding of the market impact of emerging technology and the new business model, like online platform, discriminatory business environment. Digitalization is expected to continue by increased productivity through the use of emerging technology, such as artificial intelligence. It is also important to know that while digitalization has tremendous potential to deliver benefits to society, it also raises certain concerns, and those concerns are legitimate, including the digital divide and several other infrastructure challenges. Let me quickly mention at the national level, where e-commerce is still at the rudimentary stage in Nigeria, and the pace of adoption and acceptance is absolutely slow. The single stakeholder. Recently, Business Day reported that the current market opportunity for electronic commerce in Nigeria is over 255 billion annually and has attracted about $200 million foreign investment. And the market is also growing at a rapid rate of 35% per year. I will skip many things I have in this presentation, but let me just try to draw a conclusion that at the level of the ministry, the ministry is working within its mandate as it relates to e-commerce to create an enabling environment for the private sector stakeholder to thrive. In that regard, the minister has constituted the National Advisory Committee on e-commerce to work with the relevant ministry, department, and agency to address whatever challenges that have been highlighted in this discussion. Before I conclude, I would like to once again appreciate the organizers of the webinar and also encourage all of us to sustain this high level of engagement and training, which I believe will help to build capacity and deepen the knowledge on e-commerce. Finally, I call on all of us to take advantage of this webinar. We hope that lessons learned from this webinar will be properly articulated in line with present reality. That will sharpen government decision towards the sustainable growth of e-commerce sector, and assure all of us that the future growth and development of e-commerce in Nigeria is very bright. The global trend on e-commerce is moving. We cannot afford to miss the trade, regardless of the challenges, which I believe are not insurmountable. I associate with the emerging consensus that e-commerce businesses has come to stay, and for Nigeria, the time is now. And thank you, and God bless.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Suleiman Audu. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Now, all the paper presentations were made available to everyone, so you can have access to the cloud and the marketing and all the different presentations that were made earlier on. All of them will be sent to all participants. You have all that at the end of the day. Then there are some questions. Certainly, there'll be time very shortly that we'll get into question and answer. I can see some questions have been answered already in the chat box, but certainly everyone may not necessarily have access to that right now, maybe due to your concentration, but we'll ask the question when the time comes so that they can be addressed. Okay, let's get into the next discussion now that talks about digital marketing and how to increase sales and customer leads, driving targeted traffic for positive customer acquisition. That's the next discussion now, and certainly will be taken by the project manager at SME Link or SMEI Incorporated. All right, now Fela Olagunju will help take that, and he is the project manager at SME Link, and he's also a project manager at the Rabington Media, as well as CEO at Meter.ng, an online electricity bill payment platform. Let's give the room now to Fela Olagunju. It's all yours now.
Hello, everyone.
We can hear you.
Go. My name is Fela Olagunju.
Go ahead.
Again.
Go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity, Abuja Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for the opportunity, Wura. I appreciate you. Okay, so today we'll be looking at how to drive traffic fast. You know, everyone is talking about the pandemic and the way it has affected their business and the new entrance into the e-commerce space. So getting in will be easy, but now how do you compete with the people out there, the competition, the collaborators? How do you get the word out fast? So I'd love to see the slides. So I guess I'll go on without it. Okay. Can we all see the slides?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Great. Okay, so I'll start with driving traffic fast. So there's this picture here. You see the first picture. He's the first person I'll call the first digital marketer, because what he did is set up a device that transmits signals from remote locations, basically the radio. You know, so people have been able to do advertising by advertising cinemas, and people have been selling cinemas in as long as 1986. Next slide, please. So I'd say digital marketing goes a lot more than just Facebook ads. It's about spreading information using electronic devices. So I read an article a while ago about billboards being dead. So in the past, we used to use billboard as a real gateway to open our traffic and get more people visiting our content. But today, you see billboards are not as much in use because people are already going out and there's more distancing, as well as considering the cost of putting your ad on a billboard compared to the cost we're going to talk about in running digital advertising. So here are 5 strategies we can use real quick to scale up our activities and grow traffic very fast. Our first one on the list is creating and repeating a DIY SEO strategy. So what's SEO? I want a new bag and I go on Google and I type it. Where can I find around my area in Lagos or in Abuja? The content that comes up first are people that on purpose optimize their content. So one wants to index the content on Google. So it has as little as indexing your content and telling Google, hey, I'm a new website, make sure people find me. That's enough to put you on the first page of Google. So those are things you can do by yourself. Secondly, invest in a high value e-commerce blog. You wake up in the morning and you always see content from Jumia, from Konga, from Amazon. You know, the email every time to always keep you on your feet. Like whenever you need something, you can come to us. We are always there for you. Thirdly, putting big effort into growing your list. Most of us put this as an afterthought, but it should be the first thought. I'll give an example. There's an entrepreneur in the USA, she's Nigerian. She started a pimple clearing solution, rubbing oil on your face to clear your pimples. So she built an email list of over 100,000 people before she started promoting her product and started selling to them. This is the product will be launched. This is what the product can do. And on the launch day, she sold over $1 million worth of products because she just sent the purchase link to our list. And each product was about $50, and we had about 20,000 people buying and buying orders in 8 minutes. So that's quite insightful how much we can do if we're able to have an email list that it's almost free to send messages to them. Third, the fourth on the list is ensuring your budget is in the right place for Google campaigns. And lastly, capitalizing on driving targeted traffic using Facebook campaigns. On the last talk by Grace, she talked about building relationships as well as getting data. Data is very vital. So you can be a business selling chicken online and you can target only those that eat organic chicken in Abuja between the age of 34 to 50. And those are the only people that would see your ad. It's very insightful because you know how much you spend in acquiring one user. You can track all the metrics and decide if I spend 1,000 naira to be on running ad, I will get 15 people coming to ask me how much is my product. And from there, you don't know how much sales you can get. And the more you scale up your advertising budget, the more amount of traffic you get. That's very, very paid and very, very targeted. So these are other avenues you can run digital marketing. online search, electronic billboards, digital product demos, radio commercials, email marketing. So this is a strategy that we can look at to drastically improve our sales. Next slide, please. Lastly, I hope this guide has expanded your view a bit. I showed that digital marketing is a lot more than just Facebook ads. It's a lot more than just social media, but goes into finding data, building relationships, as well as finding the exact place where your audience or your customer is. Next, please. All right, thanks for being here. I'm glad to have you guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Fela Olagunju, for your time. I like the way you kept it within the time. Congratulations to you. It's really interesting. It's really interesting how you kept it within that space and talking about digital marketing, which everyone needs in e-commerce. Actually, we really appreciate your time there. Okay, it's time for a next goodwill message, which is going to go just, won't give more than 2 minutes on this one. And he's representing the Dr. Inua Abdullahi, DG of NIDDA or NITDA, in the person of Barrister Kasim Sadongi is the National Coordinator, Office of Nigerian Content, Office of the Nigerian Content. He's representing the DG of NIDDA. It's all yours now, Barrister Kasim Sadongi, for your message.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity. On behalf of the Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency, I bring his greetings and his felicitations with the Abuja Chambers of Commerce for this fantastic initiative to host a session to discuss the topical issue of e-commerce in Nigeria. From the perspective of NIDDA, it's been exciting watching, this aspect of commerce blossom. It will definitely mean an implication for other aspects of businesses or other forms of businesses, but it's also exciting to see a fresh labor force emerging and to see that digital platforms are becoming the go-to for selling products. At the core of e-commerce from our perspective is connecting SMEs, period. Being able to provide the fulcrum and the marketplace for SMEs to connect with consumers like never before. Some of the records we look at include one from one of the major platforms for e-commerce in Nigeria that has grown its service providers of service or shops, if you like, from a mere 300 5 years ago to in 2022, about 15,000 SMEs providing various services on its market, and only in about 4 major cities in Nigeria. It just says to you what the incredible potential is. And it may interest you to note that about 50-60% of these sellers are either former retrenched staff of corporates or other organizations in Nigeria who have found a second lease of life, being able to use e-commerce platform to sell and to survive and to raise their families and households. This indicates, what the tremendous potential is. I can go more into statistics. It indicates about 20% that use this platform now are first-time business owners. This cuts across other platforms like Instagram and Facebook and people who provide sort of digital service. The challenges abound. There are challenges with fulfillment. Fulfillment means really what you see and ordered, is that what you got? There are tons of things that go into that sphere, logistics, so on and so forth. And by the NIDDA Act 2007, Section 6, paragraph C of the Act, empowers NIDDA to make regulation for the use of information technology as an alternative to paper-based methods in education, commerce, labor, so on and so forth. So NIDDA is considering not rushing to issue regulations and stipulate rules, but actually couch a policy that would enable, be favorable, support, and stimulate, e-commerce platforms, which we consider as backbone infrastructure for SMEs in Nigeria. So aligned with tons of the speakers before me who spoke about the benefits of the cloud, the infrastructure, and just the sheer opportunity. As regulators and as partners, we need to harness and build regulations. And it's important we do so because some of our regulations might stifle, might hurt, some of these businesses, to come up with ways to allow e-commerce flourish, but to maintain customer service, to maintain quality of service, and then fulfillment issues are dealt with. And then again, cybersecurity, that's a huge issue as it regards payments and security of people's personal data. So I'm trying to keep to time. There's so much to say, but thank you. It's been an exciting session so far. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kasim. Thank you for keeping to time. Thank you for working within the time frame. We really appreciate you. All right, we're going to the last presentation now, and it is talking about ahead of the curve digital strategies to unlock business value. That is what the next discussion and the last one is talking or will be talking about. And it will be taken by the Chief Executive Officer of Info Strategy Technology, Mr. Tomi Araromi. He is the founder and managing director of iRecharge Tech Innovations. He's also the chief executive officer of Info Strategy Technology Limited. He has a proven executive management track record and over 20 years of experience in leading, growing, mentoring, and strengthening management teams in the ICT and fintech industry. Among several professional certification and executive management programs. He is also a certified software engineer and holds a first-class degree rather in information technology and networking from Middlesex University. And it's really interesting to have Mr. Tomi Araromi right here with us. It's all yours now, Tomi.
Thank you very much, and good evening. Once again, my name is Tomi Araromi, and I'll stand on existing protocol. I also want to thank the Abuja Chamber of Commerce for the opportunity to speak and to share some of the insights I've garnered over the years. I feel very privileged to see my big brother and my uncle, Prince Adetokunbo Kayode. I think the last time we had a chat was on our way from London to Milton Keynes, sometime in 2012. Great to see you, sir. We're living through very strange and transformational times. Changing the way we live and conduct business is the only way that we will survive. History has shown us that times of great challenges can also be breeding grounds for innovation and new opportunities. By now, we are all familiar with the new rules of life: staying indoors, practicing social distancing, and always washing our hands. With the gradual and inevitably opening of the economy, let's not go back to work, let's go forward to work. We are all familiar with the lockdown, and we've experienced demand standstill, broken supplies, production slowdown, retail sales has rattled. There's heightened prudence on spending, both on the customer side and the business. Expansion and launches are in limbos. There's weakening customer connect because we can't go out and interact with people. Advertising and media darkness is impacting brands because they didn't expect this would happen. Now, some of the key questions which I intend to address today and business are asking is, should we slash budget and stop all marketing activities? Can we recalibrate marketing for business impact and quick results? What role can digital play for us in this change scenario? Can we use digital to drive sales, deliver a great customer experience, and create competitive advantage? How can digital be used to engage with other stakeholders, such as employees, vendors, even for distributions? How can we shift our fixed marketing costs to a more fluid model? How can we grow talent and the ability to perform this in this digital-first new marketing environment? Can digital help us test and grow new business models? We have a website. Some people will say that, an app, an e-commerce store. Now what? So we'll be looking into all of this. And in order to meet changing business and marketing requirements, businesses must be reimagined. The process of using digital technologies to create new or modify existing business processes, cultures, customers, experience in the digital age must be strategic and intentional. So the question is, how do we create or re-strategize our digital strategy? We're going to talk about remodeling marketing powered by digital to serve as a strong sales enhancement tool. We're going to rethink and recast. We need to rethink and recast customer experience. We need to revisit our sales strategy and reimagine sales channels. We need to recalibrate our growth levers. We need to revive demand and claim customer loyalty. We need to regain brand science and restore sales and revenue. And with this, I came up with what I call the 3 steps, 9 points digital strategy action plans, which spans across 15, 75, and 90-day action horizon. And what does the plan cover? It covers the assessments. We need to examine, diagnose, and uncover our digital strategy. We all run businesses. Not all businesses are e-commerce. We have people in the manufacturing sector. We have people selling content. We also need to talk about action. After we've been able to examine and diagnose and uncover, it's time for us to execute by prioritizing and going forward. And after 90 days, I think it's time for us to really evaluate, adapt, and accelerate. Lots of people say, oh, 90 days is so long. But your business has been in existence for longer than 90 days. There are no quick solutions for this. The first one, access. We need to pause. We need to access and recalibrate. And what does this mean? There are multiple points analysis of digital marketing. We have the business marketing and business plan context, which some people might not have. We have the competitive reference frame. People are saying, oh, look, I have my customers, I have competition. Yes, that's correct. But your competition is also being affected by COVID. In the hospitality industry, where you actually have up to 90% decline in occupancy rate, they are also going through. You need to also determine your ROMI, which is what I call your return on marketing investment. After that, you need to diagnose what's the health and agility of your current marketing plan for those who already have one in place. For those who don't, do you have the digital fitness to take on new demands? What are your competitions doing? Once this is done, you need to uncover with your team, identify opportunities, the gaps, the inhibitors, and the accelerators to help you gain a strategy that would help propel your business. The next 75 days, which is the second part of the action plan, the first step I call is to prescribe. You need to actually come up with 5 to 7 point prescription for remedies and interventions. Not a lot. The question is, what do I have to do now to take my business digital? We've had a lot of our speakers speak, and I won't want to repeat what they have to say, but we must be tactical and understand the immediate focus areas. For lots of organizations working from home, they might want to consider cloud computing so they can collaborate remotely. And it's also important for cost rationalization and understanding the areas to recalibrate. Once this is done, we must prioritize the quick wins. What can we do immediately that would give us the results we want at no cost or low cost initiative? It's important to do initiative at a minimum viable threshold because we're getting into a new system and we must understand that we just don't test the waters with both legs. At this stage also, we must be able to define milestones as against the investment we're putting in. What do we want to achieve? What do we need to put there to achieve this? And once that is done, execution is the next thing. We need to get that plan into action. You need to open multiple marketing activities across social medias. Other speakers have spoken about it. We need to guide your team and partners in execution. In working to implement this plan, it's important that your team and everybody working with you is on board and assign tasks to help them understand their roles in making that big dream happen. It's also important
2 minutes more. 2 minutes more.
To make smarter choices, execute quickly, and test on the go. Once that is done after 75 days, it's important that we step back and evaluate and analyze the progress over the last 60 days. We need to review the position in our competitive environment. What do we need to change? What do we need to do differently? We need to adapt. We need to iterate initiative based on evaluations that have come back to us. And then it's time for us to scale up and chase more aggressive sales and growth to enable us achieve our goals. Another important thing, I'll wrap up with this, is our channels and our payments. We've talked about social media's website, but we need to open new channels. We have the USSDs, we have the third-party merchants, and very recently, there's what you call the chatbots. I run iRecharge, frequently a channel for paying your electricity and others. And we found out that I asked my team, and we said, look, not everybody is going online to purchase, but lots of people are using the WhatsApp. So we created a chatbot where people are able to buy their electricity via WhatsApp. They didn't need to go online or use any USSD codes. And we also decided to understand that, oh, language is also an important hindrance. If you go to China, their apps are in Chinese. So what did we do for our northern clients? We have our solutions in Hausa. We said if an Hausa man can chat with his fellow Hausa man in Hausa, why can't he purchase in Hausa? We put this channel, and I can tell you we've seen sales soar based on this. So it's important that we're able to understand the mix of channel for our businesses, depending on what business we're doing. And most importantly, create an easy way for people to be able to pay you. The 5 outcomes you can expect if you do this is, number one, a rationalized marketing cost, renewal of customers and sales sentiments. You will find out that your remodel marketing plan is strong, providing results. It grants you a competitive advantage. And most importantly, you need to start somewhere for you to actually be able to achieve the results you want. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tomi Araromi, for that wonderful, wonderful presentation. I know we have so much to still talk about, but time is against us. But however, all the materials, all the paper presentations will be available to all participants. So you can go through and get more details of what has been presented. Okay, we thank all participants, we thank all speakers, and all goodwill messages that came in. We really appreciate everyone for everything that you have said and all the messages you have brought forth. We thank everyone too for the patience. Everyone has been so patient with everyone still staying by until now. All right, it's time for question and answer now. We have some questions already, and I see that in the chat box, some questions were being answered already in the chat box, but let's just run through them so we can, for the benefit of everyone. The first question that came from the first question was talking about a presentation from Segun Olugbile. It was let me locate it now. All right, I think the first question came from Olabode Showomi. He said that Ambassador Olugbile, kindly, where does SaaS and PaaS connect with IoT, that's Internet of Things? And can you help with a case study or example? That is a question that Olugbile is directed at Olugbile.
Okay, thank you very much. That question is actually an important one because IoT is integrated into the cloud computing by design. And now, for example, when you go to Amazon Web Services, you see the blockchain, you see IoT, you see artificial intelligence, all integrated so as to automate the process of you engaging, harnessing the service on cloud. So it is not a question of how can the chambers harness IoT, but it is a question of how can chamber harness cloud computing capability. Within that capability embedded, the entirety of the emerging technology framework. So I think that's answered the question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Segun. All right, the next question is from Olawale Rashid, and he says that I have a question on the legal framework for e-commerce business. Is the framework sufficient and clear? If not, do we need to work on a consolidated legal framework? And he said, okay, I think Mr. Kazim, Barrister Kazim can answer this question.
Thank you very much. At the moment, there are rules and laws that apply to e-commerce in Nigeria. So that needs to go out, that needs to be established. Consumer protection, other rules requiring health and safety, rules around courier and logistics services. So there are disparate rules that govern several aspects of the operation of e-commerce in Nigeria. But there is a need for a consistent, well thought out policy, which is what NIDA, in partnership with stakeholders, would have to work on. It is also pertinent to note that the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Commerce is leading the charge in the aspects of the the WTO and negotiations on Nigeria's participation on global e-commerce, the global e-commerce footprints. However, there's need for a coherent local and internal framework that aligns with the international. Subsequently, the policy will then stipulate for rules, regulation, and if need be, other laws that are necessary to ensure governance of e-commerce in Nigeria. It is late, however, it's always important that sometimes policy learns from those who are practicing on ground and then articulates a position that is beneficial to all. As we know, innovation and technology runs ahead of regulation and rules. So it is important that we now have a deliberate policy that promotes, supports, and ensures that we take advantage of e-commerce, even in consideration of our commitment to the African Free Trade Continental Area Agreement. So that is the next step, and then NIDA will be leading those conversations, of course, in partnership with all the players for that kind of policy. I hope this helps. Thank you.
Okay. All right. The part two of that question says.
May I just say a few words?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
I thank Dr. Sidengi for his input on this. I know that we should look at working with NIDA and stakeholders, Ambassador Lubile, Tommy, everybody. We should look for a platform to really thoroughly interrogate the issue of a legal framework for e-commerce. E-commerce is big. It's going to get bigger. It will cost every other sector. So a framework for it, legal framework being critical, policy for it will also be critical going forward. Right now, as Dr. Sidengi said, there are disparate issues. Even the most minute electronic evidence.
Serviette or tissue paper.
The issue of electronic evidence is fundamental to the issue of e-commerce. You understand? That is so, and I know that the courts have been playing a fast one on that. Really, the rules, evidence say you can, but some people say you can, some people say you cannot. So we must develop a platform to engage ourselves on this and really agree on the way forward. If we are going to embed or, well, not embed really, but at least knit that with all that authority, let there be clarity about that. And it will be better for Nigeria, it will be better for commerce, better for business. But it's a very critical question Alhaji Rashid has raised, and we should take it as one of the takeaways. And I want to challenge all of us who are stakeholders in this to look for ways how we can properly titillate the question. I mean, look at it properly and guide and support government to take a step forward on this. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. President. Now, Kasim, before I let you go, there's a part B of that question that says that, is there any regulation from NIDA that we should be mindful of while adopting cloud as our data has to reside outside Nigeria most of the times?
Okay, that's a good question. NIDA currently has two instruments that are important in this consideration. The first is the Nigerian Cloud Computing Policy. The policy provides a broad framework of what the perspective of the Nigerian government is on the use and leveraging of cloud for businesses and governance in Nigeria. What that document does is focus more really on the operations of government as it relates to the cloud. It puts forward a very nuanced position as to what kind of information can sit globally, what kind of government regulated information that needs to sit within Nigeria, therefore meeting the minimums of the sovereignty of Nigerian data, and then what kind of operations can Nigeria countenance in enabling and leveraging business intelligence, software as a service, mostly around the SaaS infrastructure, to be able to explore our data so that we can mine meaningful information and then also improve our efficiency as part of a global community. So it's a very nuanced position, but critically, what that document does, it also enables SMEs to locate their operations on global and local cloud platforms where they will derive the most efficiency to provide services to government at cheaper cost. Almost saying to the rest of the country, once a business is located on the cloud, there's no need to ask about physical location because it meets and checks most of the requirements that you need, either for compliance, due diligence, and so on and so forth. So the policy is towards the operation of government platforms in the cloud, and then encouraging SMEs to set up on the cloud to also serve the federal government. The second document is the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation. The regulation sets out basically the rights and the controls and compliance methods and mechanisms for the protection of personal data of Nigerians. First, of Nigerian citizens, ad hominem persons, and then other people who are also living in Nigeria. The guideline provides that for the purposes of processing Nigeria's data, we recognize that Nigerians are involved in different types of commercial activities and personal activities that may mean their data may sit in different jurisdictions around the world. However, the document mandates that any jurisdiction that will host the personal data of Nigeria, as Nigeria also hosts the personal data of other citizens of the world, must have the minimum framework that protects personal data against exploitation and abuse. That's
okay.
Secondly, for the transfer of data outside Nigeria, there's a process that requires that you follow so that you can transfer personal data to other jurisdictions. I hope this.
Okay. I guess for any other extra information, they can reach out to you to get even more information on that. Thank you very much.
And Mike, again, you see,
yes,
this
President.
is, interestingly, the Abuja Chamber of Commerce has taken a leadership position in terms of engaging with stakeholders, including NIDA, about data protection and all that. If I recall last year, we did a roundtable on this. See, there need to be this conjunction between government and private sector. There has to be this bridging of bridges. We have to work together. We have to understand exactly what government is thinking, and government has to understand exactly what we think so we can work together. See, data, government is also private sector. And I can just imagine that the private sector generates more data than government. And when it comes to using data for value in e-commerce, it is principally a private sector thing. So I'm very happy that we have personality like Dr. Sidengi in that area working on it. But you see, we must bridge this gap. We must have this conjunction. We must work together as a team, the private sector and leader and government, so that all of us will be on the same page. Data is what now? Data is money now. Is that not so, Dr. Sidengi? Data is money. It's no longer secret. Data is money. So, you see, let's be one of the takeaways we have to, because we hope we can follow up on this later. Both with him, his principal, his people in the Ministry of Digital Economy, and so on and so forth, work between government and private sector so we can make sure that Nigeria continues to leverage on all the opportunities we have to build on post-COVID opportunities that arise from the digital technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I believe that after this, we will be able to network amongst each other so we can, some of the pending questions we can answer and then network for better performance and all of that. Now it's time for the closing remarks, and I'd like to give the time to the Director General, the DG of Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in the person of Ms. Victoria Akai. Madam DG, it's all yours now, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, thank you, Mike. Thank you for doing a great job anchoring this webinar. I would like to thank the amazing lineup of people who have participated in this webinar this evening. All of you taking out time out of your busy personal and professional schedules to meet. It means a lot to us. So on behalf of the President, the ESCO, Council, And members and management of ACCI, I would like to thank you for making out time out of your precious weekend to be with us today. Today is Saturday. Most people would spend time with their families, but you made out time to come. Thank you so much. The only way we can modernize business is to leverage on the digital economy. The only way we can effectively achieve a large part of the economic sustainability plan is to make sure that we digitalize business and learning. The only way we can lead in the fourth industrial revolution in Africa and maybe in the world is to effectively develop e-commerce. If Virgin Atlantic is now asking for bailout, it's a good sign that businesses urgently need to diversify into the digital space. Many thanks goes out to our speakers. I would like to thank my president, Prince Adetokunbo Kayode, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Commander of the Niger. Thank you so much for being our keynote speaker and for staying to the end. I know he's a very, very extremely busy person. Thank you to our keynote speakers, busy people as well, Dr. Azumi Ibrahim, the Director General of NOTAB, Professor Adesoji Adeshiba, thank you for borrowing us your executive time, the MD of NEBSA, directors and representatives of ministries of industry, trade and investment, and the Ministry of Science and Technology. Dr. Peter, thank you so much for making our time to be with us. The national coordinator of the representative of the DG of NITDA, thank you so much for being here. And to our distinguished discussants, my friend Osita Oparogu, CEO of Ogiele Limited, thank you so much for making our time to be here. I know you are always up and doing and you're very busy. Thank you for making our time to be with us. Mr. Olusegun Olubile, Chairman of ISET, thank you so much. Ms. Grace Jare Ajuwon, Chief Business and Marketing Officer of ProShare, thank you for being with us, and thank you for that fantastic presentation. Mr. Fela Olagunju, Project Manager of SME Link. Mr. Tomi Araromi, CEO of InfoStrategy Technology, thank you. All of you, well-grounded in various respects of electronic commerce. It's been an honor to have such accomplished individuals and to be able to get your perspectives and gain knowledge from you. We are so thankful. And so to our distinguished audience, you sat here for 2 hours. Thank you all for joining in today, and we look forward to having you on our various programs at the Chamber. Finally, please visit our website at accinigeria.com, participate and find value in our various digital platforms of learning, networking, buying and selling, and dispute resolutions. Thank you so much again, and please enjoy the rest of your weekend. Dr. Anene, thank you so much for making our time to be with us. He's also a very busy executive, and he always makes himself available, our VP Mining. Thank you so much. Okay, so it was nice having you. Thank you, Mike Okoche. We look forward to interacting a lot with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Madam DG, for all that wonderful closing remark. We thank everyone for participating. I believe that when webinars and platforms like this come up, it gives opportunity for new things to start. So we're looking forward to better networking with each other, and then things we can learn from each other, things we can leverage on each other when it comes to partnerships and collaborations. We can do all of that going forward from here. So the host will put all of these together and also create a networking platform where we can all be in touch and then connect each other to other businesses as we get along. Thank you all, thank you everybody, and thank you very much for your patience and time. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
God bless you too. Thank you, Wura, the ATC team.
Yeah.
I didn't forget you. Thank you for organizing this fantastic webinar. Wura, Jude, Anna, well done.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. And then when we called on you, you weren't available again. So we didn't have
it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
I was having a difficulty with my
connectivity.
Yeah. So,
all right.
But
thank you.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed the session. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to be here. I'm going to join you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. And Dr. Peter Ekweozo, sorry we couldn't have you on eventually due to the network challenges and then the constraint of time. I believe we'll have more opportunities to have you on next time. Thank you so much for your understanding and patience. Thank you, Dr. Peter Ekweozo. Thank you. All right. Bye, everybody, and bye. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Bye, Wura.
Bye. Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you.